Welcome to the NBA Picks Show on the LineStar YouTube channel. I'm Shannon Sommerville with your top NBA picks for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. We're finally here. We got the Oklahoma City Thunder going up against the Indiana Pacers. And if this game total is any indication, we're in for quite the ride. 230.5. That's the second highest over-under in a finals game in the modern era. Also, could be a little bit lopsided. 9.5-point favorites is what OKC's at right now, although it's not that surprising considering the way they dominated the regular season, and they've looked pretty dominant in the playoffs as well. In fact, during the regular season, they went 29-1 against the Eastern Conference this year. So can the Indiana Pacers keep things interesting? That's the question we're asking ourselves as we're looking at some of these player picks. And as always, we are placing our picks on Underdog. If you don't have Underdog, use the promo code LineStar when you first download it to get a nice deposit match plus 1 free month of the LineStar app, which is what we use for all of our research needs, whether it be DFS or prop betting. It's a great tool to use. And now from the makers of LineStar is a totally free app called the Props Optimizer. That is free to you wherever you get your apps. Go download it today. We've got a tab specifically for Underdog and all you guys playing on there. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is give 2 picks that we love that we're pairing together, putting on an entry on Underdog and using their extender promo, which is an awesome promo they've got going on. Basically, the longer the series, the bigger the boost. In game 1, we're getting a 40% boost on our entry. So if that cashes, we're getting an extra 40%. More bang for your buck there. So a great promo from Underdog right now. Go take advantage of that. And then we're also going to choose 3 players. We're laddering their points total. We need all 3 players to surpass that third rung of the ladder for us to get a 25x payout. So there is some strategy involved there. We'll get to that when we get to our picks. But let's start off with our player picks for this one. And we're going to start things off with Oklahoma City Thunder and their big man, Isaiah Hartenstein, over 6.5 rebounds. Hartenstein averaging 7.9 rebounds per game in the playoffs. And this was an area that I targeted against the Pacers when they were playing the Knicks. And this is a place I'm going right back to because the Pacers have struggled on the glass. And we've seen that time and time again, but specifically against the Knicks. And they will struggle against Hartenstein, who can be an absolute monster on the glass. And when they played earlier this season in March, Hartenstein played just 14 minutes. He put up 5 rebounds in that contest. And he actually had 13 when they played them in December when he played 34 minutes. So I think he's fully capable of clearing that 6.5 rebounds mark. For reference, Cat averaged 12 rebounds per game last series. He had 7 or more in all 6 games. And Mitchell Robinson had 7 or more in 4 of 6 games last series. The Pacers, that was one area that they struggled, and that's one area that I'm looking to exploit right from the get-go in game 1 with Hartenstein, over 6.5 rebounds. On the flip side, I'm looking at Bennedict Mathurin for some fast offense off the bench in this one, over 7.5 points. LineStar's projection is 12.2. And what I'm really leaning into here is kind of a narrative that the Pacers may be playing from behind in this one, in which case they're going to need their instant offense to come off the bench and start shooting threes, knocking them down. And he's been higher than that 7.5 points line in 9 of 14 games, had 18 against them in the regular season this year. And he averaged just under 10 versus the Knicks last series. And he's someone who consistently provides scoring off the bench in very limited minutes. Pacers, I mentioned, will likely be playing from behind. They could need that instant offense from players other than just Halliburton and Siakam. So I don't mind at all taking Bennedict Mathurin to go higher than 7.5 points here. We're going to put both of those picks on an entry on Underdog. Use that extender boost, and let's hope we cash it. By the way, if you've got any locks that you love for tonight, please drop them in the comments. Not only does that help us out in the good old YouTube algorithm, but it also helps you out because if we go 2 for 2, one randomly selected commenter will win $20. So you got to be in it to win it. Next up is our ladders contest. Now, there is a little bit of strategy involved. You almost kind of have to envision the way this whole game is going to play out. And I'm kind of trying to go with what the odds makers are telling me with OKC favored by 9.5 points, fast-paced teams here. All right, so I'm basically going to take 2 players from the Oklahoma City Thunder, pair that with a player that I think could pop off for Indiana. Let's start off with Pacers small forward Aaron Nesmith, who needs to reach 9 points for the first rung, 12 for the second rung, and 19 for the third rung, which will be our max payout line. That'll be 25x if we can get all three players to surpass that third rung. Nesmith averaged 12 points per game in the regular season. He's turned it on in the playoffs, averaging 14 points per game, and he has actually reached that 19 points mark 3 times in the playoffs. He's actually shooting a little bit better than Halliburton recently. And the way I envision this game kind of playing out is the Pacers, to be competitive, are going to need to rely on players other than Halliburton, other than Siakam, to get going. And Nesmith is a guy who can absolutely get scorching hot from 3. And he can also score in a similar way to the way Jaden McDaniels did. That's where the Timberwolves had success, is when he was able to start scoring. Remember, he had 2 games where he surpassed 20 points. I think Aaron Nesmith could have similar success against this OKC team that's tough to predict who's going to go off because they have such a great, stellar defense. On OKC's side of things, you can't have a ladder without SGA. And I know that the number he needs to reach at 44 for that third payout is high, but nobody has scored more points in the paint this season than SGA. Pacers, meanwhile, ranked 26th in points in the paint in the regular season, 11th of 16 teams in the playoffs. This is an area that SGA can absolutely exploit. During the regular season against the Pacers, SGA put up 33 and 44 respectively. So that 44 number, don't be scared of it. We're taking SGA. We have to have him. I just don't think the Pacers are going to have an answer for him. And I also think another player that could help us out here in our ladder is Chet Holmgren. His ladder, 14, 17, 26 for that max payout. Now, LineStar's projection is 18, which gets us to that second rung. So I like that. He's averaging 16.4 points per game in the playoffs. But again, leaning on this stat that the Pacers ranked 26 in points allowed in the paint in the regular season, I think this is an area that Holmgren can kind of exploit. Again, 11th of 16 teams in the playoffs in points allowed in the paint, and Chet Holmgren, that's where he can thrive. So those are the 3 that I am going to roll with for my ladders lineup. Again, it's going to be Nesmith, SGA, and Holmgren. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you're going a different direction, let me know. We're all trying to help each other out and try to win some money here in this game 1. Who you got, guys? Drop it in the comments. Good luck in all of your prop betting endeavors. Remember to bet responsibly, use responsible gaming practices, have some fun. Best of luck. We'll see you guys next time.